Hello, everybody. My name is Barry Johns. Welcome back to another edition of Studio Talk. So recently I did a series of videos, there's three of them, that go into incredible detail. They're incredibly comprehensive on really telling you everything you need to know regarding using analog gear as hardware inserts and everything like that, as well as what brands to consider, maybe some to stay away from, resale value, what's a good investment, what's not a good investment, and then the practical application about putting them into use, about where do you best utilize them? Do you do it during tracking? Do you do it during mixing? Where's the best utilization of this? And how much do you really need? And then I go into some deep understanding of all the pitfalls and everything that you can run into and problems associated with hardware inserts, as well as demonstrating some basic incorporating multiple pieces of hardware and into the workflow, okay? But today I thought it'd be pretty interesting. Today's video is going to be about just about every channel strip you buy. And a channel strip, of course, going to be, at very least, a microphone preamp and typically an EQ. Some will have a mic pre, EQ, and compressor all built in. So depending on which one, but just about all of them give you the ability to not only use it during tracking, so the microphone input into the input of the hardware channel strip, and then, of course, internally, that's going to route, and you can bypass each one. But let's just say you want to go out of the microphone preamp into an EQ, out of that into your interface, and then record the results of that. Also, one really cool feature probably that I find I use when, especially EQ, I don't typically track with EQ on the way in. And so one of the things that I do is I'll utilize that EQ oftentimes while I'm mixing, okay? And then I'll typically print a stem of that and then take a picture of my settings and then store that within a folder of the session, okay? And so that way, if I need to do recall or anything like that, I pull that back up and get exactly back where I was, so I don't have any problems there. And so that's one of the ways I use it, and I don't think a lot of people think about that. So again, typically most of these interfaces will give you the ability for a microphone XLR input or a DI on the front, typically a 1/4-inch balanced input for bass or something like that. But then they also have a secondary input to do as hardware insert that's selectable from the front, either going back before, to bypass their microphone preamp and just go to whatever else is in the channel strip, be it just an EQ or a compressor or both, okay? And so the ability to kind of insert that back in. And of course, you use the same output as you would when you're going through the channel strip. And so, of course, you set your hardware insert up, accordingly to that. And so it really gives you a lot of flexibility to really use the hardware on the way in as well as after you're in, go back through it again. Oftentimes you hear a lot of people talking about just send it back through the hardware. Don't even do anything. Don't change any settings or whatever. Just let it go through that. And you're going to get, a marginal bump, but it's really going to open it up a little bit. And that's one of the things to it. And again, I'm going to demonstrate that here in a second. So today, I'm going to use my Heritage Audio HA73, which is a clone of a Neve microphone preamp and the Neve 1073 EQ. And so from that, I'm going to demonstrate for you how I just kind of do that. And I'll just dial in some things pretty quickly, just to kind of give you a feel and a vibe of how that works, okay? So I want to get this disclaimer out of the way. Well, let me say this first. If you like the things I talk about on the channel, hit that like, subscribe, that notification bell. Really appreciate it. Help me grow the channel. I'd appreciate it if you do that for me. But outside of that, understand I'm not going for the perfect sound here. I think if I remember correctly, I think I've got, a snare drum on it. I think I've got a bass. I think I got an acoustic guitar, an electric guitar part. And so then I basically start from scratch on each one of those and then go through just adjusting some EQs and kind of get a vibe for how that all works. So let's head over onto the desk over there and let's take a listen and see how that all works. All right, so hopefully you found that interesting. Maybe you already knew it, maybe you didn't, but I think it's a strong thing to consider not only when you're deciding on what channel strip to buy, if you're going to buy one, but as well as how you're going to incorporate it. I've got all of my various ins and outs of all of my hardware pieces routed through several patch bays, honestly, and so that I've got the flexibility to go in and out as I choose. Now, if you don't need that, not everybody needs a patch bay. You got one or two pieces, you don't really need a patch bay. But you can just get back and unplug and plug back in and do it accordingly, especially if you have limited I/O. The more I/O you have, the less unplugging and plugging in you've got to do. So that's one of the reasons why it's good to start off with an 8-channel interface when you kind of get started off, even if you don't need it, if you plan later on to add outboard hardware. Like I've said a million times, and I'll say it one more million times again, most people I don't think really need hardware in their workflow. I don't think it's probably worth the investment for a lot of bedroom warriors that are just trying to make music and create music and stuff that they enjoy themselves, But, if you've got a few extra bucks laying around and you want to kind of step up your game and jump into the hardware game, then by all means, dive off. The water is warm. So I truly enjoy incorporating analog hardware, but it goes to a limit, right? I don't have unlimited budget. Probably you don't either. So anyway, I enjoy doing it. So I hope you found this interesting. Again, if you like things I talk about on this channel, hit that like, subscribe, and that notification bell so you know when I got a new video out. Leave some comments down below. Tell me what you think. Tell me how you incorporate your channel strips into your workflow. What do you do differently than what I've done as far as how you connect them and how you route them and things like that? I'd be interested in hearing that, so let me know what you think. In the meantime, got a lot of other videos out there, a bunch of other videos and everything. Encourage you to go back and check them out, see what you think. Especially if you're brand new and you don't understand hardware inserts at all, that from basically how they all work to how do you connect them to your interface to ultimately how do you set them up in your DAW, how do you route them in your DAW, how do you assign them to tracks, again, what hardware to buy, what hardware to stay away from potentially, especially if you're in that, that cloned market, kind of like I demonstrated today with that Heritage Audio. I've also got a Warm Audio, a WA73, that does the same thing. And if you're interested in doing that, I'll go back and do a video on that and show you that one too. So just let me know. Be happy to do that for you. But until next time, hope all of you have a great day. Bye-bye.